What's up, beautiful jellyfish? It's Tracy. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. I'm going to be doing a real talk for you guys on basically some modern updates and things like that, progress with my elf deck, talking about GP Pittsburgh that's coming up, and just a couple of things that I want to talk to you guys about. So, I've been playtesting on my elf deck recently in modern, and the deck's really sweet. I like it a lot, and it's something I found with the deck that I really, really like, and something that I feel like is working really well, is the card Shaman of the Pact, and I love this card. It's amazing. I originally had it as a one-of because I couldn't think of what to take out, and then I took something else out, and I actually realized in the deck that I think I have a little bit too much mana ramp, which sounds crazy, and the deck kind of needs it, but I think I'm going to take out, I don't know what, but I think I'm going to take something out to put in another Shaman of the Pact. And some elf players may totally disagree with me, or some people may disagree with me, but the card Faunwa Shaman, where it's good, the thing about this card is that a lot of times I feel like I dump my hand so much that it's like I top deck this card and I'm like, I don't know if I really need this card, so I think I'm actually going to replace another Shaman of the Pact with that and see how that works out. Just because I think that that card has been such an all-star in this deck that I Coco into it, I top deck it, I Court of Calling for it. It's been amazing. It's like I don't even need to swing. I just have an army of elves, and then I just play this card, and it's amazing. Another card that's been working out recently that has been reprinted, actually, that was printed in Origins, has been Dwynen's Elite, I think it is. This card's really amazing because it's basically you pay 2 mana to get 3 power on the board. It's super amazing. This card is also synergizes really well with Heritage Droid because you play this card and you get 2 dudes, and then you Heritage Droid and you can tap those elves to play something else. So the deck has been really sweet. It's coming together, and it's actually almost completed. I just need to get 2 more, well, I'm getting cards sent to me from Puka Trade, so I have a couple of cards sent to me, and then I need 2 more Heritage Droids, and 2 more Cabinet of Souls that I'm borrowing for now, and the deck is done. I potentially may need to get another Spellskite for the sideboard. To be honest, I like Spellskite a lot, but I don't think, like, I want it in the deck, of course. I have one in the main board, and I'm gonna have one in the sideboard, but, like, I just find myself a lot of times drawing it, and I'm just like, I don't know. I haven't played the deck as much as I want to against other decks, but a lot of times I draw Spellskite, I'm just like, I don't know. It's kind of like one of those weird cards where it can be very situational, and given, a lot of decks that you play are interactive and that are going to interact with your board and things like that, but I just found for the most part that the Spellskite's been okay, as well as Faunwa Shaman. And again, I think that's a huge part of playing Magic, is when you build a deck and you play it, a lot of times you'll find that some cards just don't really work that well. Like, Faunwa Shaman is a card that's used in a lot of elf decks, but you also have to keep in mind that elves are really not that popular in Modern. They're, like, Mike Malone, who got first place at GP Oakland, I think it was GP Oakland. That was one of the first, bits of attention I think that elves have been getting. It's not really a popular Modern deck, but other than that, I really like the deck. Like I said, Shaman of the Pact has been an all-star card. Definitely want to 3-run this card. If I can get away with 4-running this card, I would love it. I think it's amazing. And the fact that after it hits the board, it's a 3/2 for 3 mana. That's amazing. It's just, it does so much. It's one of the, high power elves in the deck, really. And then it gets buffs from Elvish Archdroid. So it's like, it becomes like a 4/3 for like 3 mana. It's like absolutely incredible. So, yeah, the deck has been, I like it a lot. I really enjoy it. So that was one thing I want to talk to you guys about in this video. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is, a couple weeks ago I was actually talking to one of my friends, and I was asking him, I was asking him about if he was going to GP Pittsburgh that's coming up, which I'm going to, which is not this coming up weekend, it's like the next weekend, and I'm really stoked for it. I'm going with a bunch of people that I know are going, a bunch of people from my local game store and everything like that, so it's gonna be really cool. So I was talking to one of my friends, and he, we were talking about Modern, and he said that he feels like he hasn't found a deck that he really likes. And I was actually talking to him because the deck that he played for a while was Goryo's Vengeance. And I was talking to him about the deck, and then he's like, to be honest, he's like, I hate the deck. He's like, I just don't like it. The only reason I played it was because it was super powerful. And I was like, wow. And it never really occurred to me that there are people out there in Magic who play decks and cards that they don't like, but they play them because they're powerful. And that was a really interesting kind of revelation that I had. Nissa's revelation. Sorry, that was really bad. That's a Magic card. Okay, anyways, that people will play decks that they just don't like. They play them because they're really powerful and they do really powerful things. And I've always felt that, you know, and there's some people when you get to competitive Magic where they say it's not about fun, it's about winning. And, you know, I have my whole different philosophies on that, and that's, you know, not really the point of this, but like, I don't know, I honestly would not want to play a deck that I didn't have fun with. Like, of all the decks that I've built, I've had so much fun with them. And so then I started thinking about it, that I had been talking about building a control deck. And I had been talking about this. I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do because I really like Sultai, but then I also really like Grixis. And I also wanted to kind of mix both of them and maybe do 4-color control. And I was tossing around all these ideas and I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I started collecting a couple of cards for it. And I mean, a couple of high-value cards. Like, I got 2 Polluted Deltas for it. Those were like $25 a piece. I got Serum Visions, Tassigurs. Tassigur's not really that much right now. He's like 4. But I got a bunch of cards for the deck. And I said to myself, do I really want to play a control deck? I don't. And that's the thing, is some people can do that and they can build a deck and not like it and play it, but I can't do that. And maybe that could potentially be costing, you know, me not winning some games because I'm not playing the quote-unquote best deck in the format. And I did a whole video on this, but one of the things that I was talking to my friend that I was talking about who had the Goryo's Vengeance deck is he was like, to be honest, I think Modern is at a point where there is no clear-cut best deck. And that's what I said a lot in the video, is that I think that, you know, I think with some things, it's like, well, this is obviously sort of like the best deck. But the thing is that if that was the best deck, it would win all the time. So, like, arguably, there are decks that in the format that are just super amazing. Like, Grixis Control is up there. Splinter Twin is up there. Abzan is up there. Like, those are top tier decks. Like, you play those, you're probably going to do really well, because those are really good, really well-established decks. But to say that there's the best deck, and he even said, he's like, I don't think Modern is at a place right now where there is a best deck. And the thing about that is that that's a matter of opinion. Like I said, because when I played Bloom Titan, I thought it was the best deck in the format. I didn't win all the time, so there's huge issues with that. And if you want to, you know more about that, you can check out my my video talking about the best Modern decks. But I thought it was really interesting, you know, talking to him and saying his opinion, how he's struggling to kind of find a deck that he really likes, because he was actually talking about playing Bloom Titan for the GP. And I said, I was like, listen, I'm not playing the deck anymore, but Bloom's really sweet, and so he's gonna study up on that and potentially play that at the GP, so that would be pretty cool, but he's not sure yet. I mean, it's a lot, like, it's a lot to kind of just learn, like, a whole new deck, and to be honest, like, I've kind of come to this point where, like, I'm kind of worried about elves a little bit, but I feel like I have the basis of the deck down pretty well. Like, elves, the thing about them is that it is still a little bit complicated, because a lot of times you have to kind of think about how you're going to tap your mana and how you're going to get the most value out of the mana that you produce, because you have to tap your mana so accordingly in elves a lot of times, because, you know, you have a bunch of triggers, like you have a Nykthos, you got to think about that, you've got Elvish Archdruid, how much mana can you produce? It does require some thinking on the mana. By no means is it as hard as Bloom. Like, you know, our Bloom is one of the hardest decks in the format to learn how to play. So I was talking to him and I said, you know, I was like, hey, watch a lot of Justin Cohen, watch a lot of the pro players and study up on the deck a lot. You'll make a lot of misplays. It's just gonna happen, and that's just the thing about learning a new deck. But yeah, so that was my whole kind of thing with it, and I really want to know what you guys think. I really want to know if you guys have ever done that. And yeah, like I said, I can't see myself playing the control route. Whenever I go to draft and I draft blue, I kind of like, it's not that like I don't enjoy it, but it's just not one of my favorite things to be doing. It's like, all I want to do is just play, like, beat down creatures, and that's what I want to do in the game. And I think for you guys, finding that out as a player is really cool and really important in the game. Finding out what kind of cards you want to play and what cards you want to put down. So I get this thing, and I think I talked about this, but I get card envy, where I see people casting cards, and I'm like, I want to cast that Magic card. And that's the thing, is I'm kind of at this point where I've been watching some Standard, which is weird because I don't play Standard, but I've been watching Standard because I'm watching a Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar. I like to watch Magic because it just helps me become a better Magic player, and so I like watching the Pro Tour a lot. So I'm watching the Pro Tour and I'm watching a lot of people play Abzan, and I'm like, and I know it's not Modern, but Siege Rhino was used in Modern and Standard Abzan, and I'm like, that card, I want to play it. I really want to cast the Magic card Siege Rhino. I really want to do it. It's very satisfying. You know what card I also really want to cast? I really want to cast the Magic card Hangerback Walker. card is so sweet. Like, I was playing against my friend Paul, who has the, if you guys have been keeping up with my videos, we just did his Karn EDH deck, and we're playing it the other day, and he brings out a Hanger Wreck Walker, and I'm like, I want to play that card. Do you guys get like that, where you see people playing it, and you're like, yeah. And that's my thing is right now is I'm kind of at this point where I'm like, I just want to play, like, so many different decks. Like, that's the thing is I'm starting to realize, like, what kind of things I want to be doing in Magic and what kind of cards I want to be casting. And that's one of the reasons why I put Tasigur and Elves, because I wanted to cast Tasigur, and I didn't have any other decks that would allow me to do that except for EDH. And I was like, I want to play Tasigur in Modern, I want to do it. That's why I did it. Given it's been working out pretty okay in the deck, but I just really wanted to cast it. That's my real reason for wanting to put that card in the deck, because I wanted to cast it. So, and it may come out in the future, I don't really know, we'll see. But Shaman of the Pact has been, like at first, it was, I splashed black for Tasigur, but then I really splashed black for Shaman of the Pact, because it's just so good. But anyways, so, yeah, I'm kind of at that point where I'm thinking about Abzan, and I don't know. The thing is, though, is, like, I really, like, there's some cards that I'm just like, I don't know how I'm feeling. And you know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to proxy the deck beforehand. And that's not something I've actually really ever done in the past previously, is build a deck and playtest it and proxy it. But to be honest, I think I may proxy up Abzan and see how I like it. And then if I do, I think I may potentially get that deck in the future, because I actually have quite a bit of, not quite a bit of cards, I should not say that. I have a bunch of cards from Black White Tokens which are used. I have a playset of Lingering Souls, I have Path to Exiles, I have a playset of that, I have a full thing of Thoughtseizes and Inquisitions, 3 and 3 of those. I have Sorin. And that's the thing is I really like Black White Tokens because I like a lot of those cards, and I can use those cards in Abzan, so I think that's really good. And I don't know what I'll do with the deck. Like, maybe I don't know. And, like, my whole thing, and a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but, like, I don't know if I really want to run Tarmogoyf. And I know that sounds, like, crazy insane, like, whoa, why don't you want to run Tarmogoyf? I really want to run Gurmag Angler. And I know not a lot of Abzan decks are doing that, but I'm kind of interested to see that. Like, what happens if I run Gurmag Angler in the deck? I don't know. But then I get to run Tasigur in Abzan too, which would be really sweet, and I definitely want to do that. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the deck. And I feel like the thing is that's one of my issues with Sultai, was when I was going to build the deck, I feel like Tarmogoyf does not synergize well with Gurmag Angler and Tasigur. It just doesn't. Because you exile things from your graveyard, and you want things in the graveyard so that it can feed your Tarmogoyf. And, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I don't know, man. I don't know what I want to do with that. And, like, that's the thing is, like, you know, a lot of people will be like, oh, you're playing green and modern, you have to run Tarmogoyf. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to, man. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. But then at the same time, I kind of also want to play the Magic card Thought Scour, because I really like Thought Scour a lot, and it's a really cheap way. I also kind of want to cast Jace. I just want to play everything. I think that's the thing, that a moral of the story in this video is I really want to cast a lot of things. And I think that's okay. And I think, like, that's some good advice. If you're not sure about a deck, just proxy it up and kind of see how it goes. And maybe I'll do that with Abzan. I'll create a deck list for it and then kind of throw it together and, you know, see, you know, what I'm going to do with the deck and, you know, kind of go from there. And what's cool about it is that I can proxy it over Black White Tokens, because I have a bunch of the cards for that, and then I can just throw in, you know, the proxies in there, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's it for me in this video, all the things I wanted to say. Yeah, that's my roommate. Wasn't sure if my roommate was gonna be home, make an appearance in this video. But yeah, I actually taught some of my friends how to play Magic yesterday, and it's such a weird thing, like, teaching other people how to play Magic, because, like, it's some of the most innocent questions that you get asked, and it's so weird. Like, I was like, wow, I was at that stage once. It's so interesting. Like, very, very simple things, you know, but they actually picked it up, you know, quite quickly, and I think that was really great. And I'm gonna give them some of my cards and stuff, because I have a bunch of commons and uncommons that I'm never gonna use, except for I'm gonna make a cube. I've decided I'm gonna make a Pauper cube because I can, and I just want to. So I'm gonna throw a cube together and see, you know, like, how that goes and what I end up doing with that. But it'll be really interesting. I've actually made a cube before. My friend and I made one, and it was really cool. It's actually not a Pauper cube. There are rares in it. and I think a couple mythics, but it was really fun to make. I had a good time with it. I'm gonna get to that hopefully at some point and build it, but yeah, it'll be really interesting. Let me know if you guys have ever made a cube before. I think they're really interesting. Yeah. Alright, cool. That's it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day this night. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!